Hello and good evening everyone to the Invictus Racing League, and welcome back for another Grand Prix here in the Tier 2 division. Tonight it's round number 3 and we are at Spielberg for the Austrian Grand Prix, but with a little bit of a twist. This time round the drivers are going to be taking Austria in, let's say, the wrong way. We're here at the Austria reverse track, of course, brand new on the F1 25 game. And yeah, let's see what Tier 2 has for us in stock. But once again, of course, I'm joined alongside by my good friend and Tier 1 driving rival. It's Bjorn. How's it going, Bjorn?
Thank you, Alex. It's going amazing. I am super excited for tonight's race. I think we are one of the only leagues who have the courage to drive a track reverse like this. I've never driven, before yesterday, I've never driven on a track reverse in a league race, and it was such an amazing race, so I can't wait what Tier 2 has in store for us today.
No, absolutely. It's quite a unique thing to try these, reverse layouts. It's something that we used to see these let's say alternate routes with the Formula 1 2020 game 21, where we used to have, let's say, for example, Bahrain short. That was really the last I could remember of having an alternate track. But this game, brought some new reverse. Obviously, Austria being one of them. Zandvoort as well is quite a popular track to have in reverse as well. But no, it's going to be good fun to see. We obviously had Tier 1 last night, which was pretty spicy with quali in the rain, but this time round it's bone dry. But the first man, I think, on track, about to start a lap, is Lionel Griesby. Bjorn, you'd like to take us around the lap of Austrian reverse?
Yes, I do. So, DRS went over for the Ferrari on the straight into turn 1. It's a bit of a weird corner with a weird elevation. These drivers won't really know what's coming for them, but Lionel Griesby takes it well. Now for turn 4 and 5, want to take as much curb as you can on the left and also on the right. Does brilliantly. Just try to stay off the curb. A little moment for the Ferrari there. He keeps the car in control though. Well done. So one of the only hard braking points on the track. You want to go down a second, short shift up the third quickly to keep your grip and keep your car stable. DRS open for the second time this lap, going into turn 8. Very hard braking zone, also downhill. Very easy to lock your tires, almost impossible to not. The Ferrari has had a little luck, but it's still going well for him. Now, this also counts as turn 9, surprisingly. We'll have to count that officially. Into turn 10, another little lockup, same as turn 8, downwards, hard braking zone. Now, to finish the lap, it'll be a 1:10.6.
So 1:10.6 for the Ferrari driver. He was, let's be real, he did give a good amount of space to the curb, so not taking any risk. But in the meanwhile, Stephen, he's putting the fastest lap so far of the session. As I say that, Kent has popped up. New provisional pole 1:06.7 for the V-Carb tonight. But of course, it's not a Ginger Tiger quali run without him starting on the mediums. We've seen this a lot from him, but we keep mentioning it. He loves going on the medium run in the first portion of quali. I'd be amazed what he's going to do when we come to a sprint race format, because he's only got one shot for that. But DJ Madman now, he's put himself up into P1 1:05.7 for the Mercedes. So Mercedes looking decent in these early runnings. But yeah, it's Ginger Tiger just really comfortable with the medium setting. I think he's got a car in front of him of the Ferrari. He's going to pick up a nice toe here, and even potentially again out of the final corner. DRS enabled for Ginger Tiger. What can he do on the medium set? He goes to pole, provisional pole on the medium tyre, 1:05.5. I was expecting a decent pace from him, but not that high up, as Nitro Gash now snatches it off his teammate. But that's a really good lap on the mediums.
Yeah, the Astons are looking strong once again. For your information as well, the War Islander, the driver who dominated both the first and the second round, has been promoted to Tier 1, so we will not see him on the tier 2 grid again. He is driving for tier 1 now. So the Astons will have a very good chance for the win today, as well as the likes of O'Steven or Kent. So we could see a new winner.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. Of course, you know, the War Islander, absolutely stonking pace he's had, and that promotion seems pretty reasonable. But now that you did say that opens up opportunities for the two Aston Martin boys. But don't forget this man right here, Klipskiri. He was giving the two Martins a good fight in Hungary, and look at that, he splits the Aston Martins. So that is going to be opportunity wide open now. For the Red Bull driver as well. But also briefly, while he was speaking, Bjorn, we did have a moment. Ivan Tonsik having a little bit of an off there. I think he's managed to recover the car. I'm not sure what exactly happened. But yeah, he was off the track as It's the Cat now goes into P1. 104.8. Times are really coming down here fast. So whether that's track evolution, of course we had wet running last night, so we didn't really get to see what exactly the pace was in a quali format under the dry tyres, but that's why we have tier 2 as the McLaren of JPH comes around the final corner.
Yeah, so then is he starting a lap or yeah, he is. I just want to quickly go back to something else here. O'Steven was on his, I'm not sure it was a hot lap or an in lap, but he hit the wall quite hard in turn 5, actually got quite some wing damage, but he's out and again, trying it again, so we'll see if he can do better, because it was really a hard hit. I'm actually surprised his car was still running after that, but just letting everybody know, because we quite didn't see that on the coverage.
Well, whatever they've built that car, they've built it strong, and I'm betting he's going to be very glad about that. But currently watching off-board the McLaren of JPH, one thing is to notice is Austria, well notoriously known for track limits. But I feel like in the reverse layout, I feel there's less risk. I don't think you have as much opportunity to you know, invalidate your lap time, you know, by trying to get extra pace on the board, as JPH again doesn't improve. The first lap he did was a banker lap. It didn't use ERS, and that lap as well he didn't use any. Is this potentially race simulation pace he's trying?
I don't see any other explanation for it.
It's a surprise, because he's not improved on 2 occasions, but that's due to no ERS usage. As his teammate Bruce, he's invalidated his lap, so that's not going to be an improvement from him. But Kent, actually, he's on a lap. He's actually just under a second up this time round. Now he comes across the line 5/10 quicker that round. Puts himself into P6 for the sister Red Bull team. Of course, he had the Red Bull ring, so the Bulls are going to try and have a strong result here. It is their home track, of course. But P6 for him, and Red Bulls of Klipskiri and Spud P5 and PA. Yeah, who else is on a lap, Bjorn? I think a few drivers into the pits now. This is the stage where they'll set a second set of tyres. I think Nitrogas, though, might be on a run. Or on an out lap. I think he's on an out lap. In fact, actually moves aside for what looks to be JPH. I think this time round JPH is going for a run. He's going for a run, but again, no ERS usage. This is surely some race running he's trying out on the softs.
Yeah, surely. I mean, even if the next lap will be a hot lap with ERS, I doubt he'll improve, because his softs will be very, very worn. So I don't think we'll see a competitive lap time from him on this set of tires, at least. And furthermore, nobody's really on a lap. It's either on an out lap or an in lap, so just have to wait a little bit for some action.
One thing to notice, though, he is 3 seconds off at the moment what is the professional pole time from It's the Cat. But the pace is not bad, considering he's done multiple laps. That means he's got some fuel in the car. And assuming he's doing a race simulation, that means he's got quite a decent tank. So the pace doesn't seem to be all that bad, but of course we haven't seen what it's like from the other drivers on race simulation. But I think now Nitro Gash is on a lap. He's behind the McLaren, so I think now the McLaren is surely going to get out of the way. He's not entitled to, but yeah, naturally you would get out of the way if you're trying to do race simulations. Meanwhile, in a qualifying session, that might not go down too well between drivers. But Nitro Gash, he comes up to the corner, which is normally turn 4, of course, if you're used to the regular layout. But in this instance, it gets flipped to what would be, is it 10-7, if I'm not mistaken, Bjorn?
It would be turn 8.
Or is it turn 8? See, this is the problem. Multiple years on this track, it's just stuck, as it's the cat, has stuck an even better lap time. 1:04.7, a little bit faster, but an improvement is something definitely looked for. What about Nitro Gash? Has he got enough to put it to provisional pole? No, he doesn't. He doesn't improve 2/10 down on that lap. So he's going to have to try and find something else. Who else is on a run? I think Mikey is definitely going through. There's 2 Ferrari boys nearby. Mikey's up on his time. He's got his teammate behind though. Line of Crispiest Ginger Tiger sets an even faster time. 1:04.5 for him. He snatches provisional pole from It's the Cat. The Aston Martin boys really looking competitive here, as we've said pretty much in Hungary, and pretty much in contention for this construction championship. He is in fact leading with his teammate in P1 on 52 points. We'll get to that later, but they're really having a strong showing, does the Aston Martin boys, as Mikey comes around the final corner. He's got his teammate behind. I wonder if this is a bit of a DRS tow for him. Where can he put that Ferrari up to? He puts it up to P9, 7/10 improvement, so that's a good chunk of time. But that Ferrari looks absolutely disgusting. He's had a fair few moments on the gravel, I assume.
Yeah, that might have to go through a car wash. I just want to mention, It's the Cat in P2, and he's been on professional pole for the whole start of the quali. Now Ginger Tiger's got him, but that's an amazing showing from him. Mind you, he's only scored 1 point yet this season, and that was in the opener in China. So what I have high expectations for him for the race, because I know from last season in the Haas, we know he can do it, but he quite got unlucky quite a lot of times. But hopefully this time around, luck will come his way.
Yeah, no, don't count him out of contention. He's had some amazing pace in this quali session. I just wanted to mention, Bjorn, from P3 down to P5, so close. And then, of course, you've got what is P6 all the way to, you could argue, P11, even P12. There's still, you know, between each driver, there's still a 10th, 2/10ths. So finding an improvement is really going to be an incredible result for you to be able to jump up. But yeah, it's something to look out for, as we got 4 minutes on the clock. Sir Spud, his lap time on the medium tyres, of course that was his last time run, and he is on the softs, and he sets a 1:06.1. He puts himself now into P6. But yeah, this is going to get spicy, as we got a yellow flag as Ferrari off, as we're currently now watching on board with Ken. He's got Red Bull in front of him, pulls aside. Could have been a little bit too late, was it? Maybe it wouldn't have helped in terms of some DRS into that, but he got out of the way in an alright manner. I don't think that would have cost him too much, as he now opens the DRS flap. Of course, we're all stuck to DRS on this game, but at the moment the 26 regulation cars come out. We'll have to say goodbye to that, Bjorn. I can't lie, it's going to be it needs to have a good farewell sending off, but yeah, we'll still have the flap, of course, but it's not under that initial, as Kent comes across the final corner. DRS activated, battery deployed, and it's a longer run, of course, to the line, because it is quite early on as he puts a 1:04.6 Ken into P2 on the front row of the grid. Very strong lap from him.
Yeah, that's a jump of almost 1.5 seconds. Now, you regularly do not see such a big gap being crossed in quali, or improved I should say, in a quali session. So I wonder if the track evolution is just having this much impact, or either he made a mistake or that. And if it is a track evolution, then anyone can go for pole.
Oh, sorry, Bjorn there, just on board with Bruce. That's one thing we haven't mentioned already. What is usually turn 3 is an absolute nightmare of a corner. It's such a deceiving corner where drivers think they can brake at a certain moment and then it just catches them off guard, whether that's a lockup or just no braking performance. Yeah, Bruce, unfortunately, finding out the hard way, going off into the gravel, and that lap time, which was an improvement for him at the sector time, unfortunately will go down in the bin as he's into the pits. But yeah, currently now it's the cat. He's actually a little bit down on this lap, but very slightly. I wonder if he comes into the pits. He does. So that's not a surprise here with what is, if we could see the timer, of course yellow flags in sector 3. 1 minute and 31 seconds to go. I'm just realizing this now. I think it's the cat is done for this session. He's not going to have enough time to get back out.
A lap takes with no ERS, let's say 1 minute 6. And we all know the pit crew takes a sweet time. So yeah, it's definitely over for him. That's a shame.
I can't believe, again, I'm going on board with JPH and he's not on a lap. He is preparing one, but that McLaren is not setting a quali lap whenever we go to him. So there's clearly some strong messages being hinted, so we won't run on board with him at the moment, but we are running with Nitrogash. He is up on this lap time. He's got a bit of DRS to help him out for the remaining 2 straights. Not much ERS though, but he's set a fastest sector 2 at the moment. So Nitrogash looking strong in this stint, but this is probably going to be his last lap time. He does have time to do one more, but no more battery deployment for him. So what does he have on this opportunity? Oh, it's not enough. He was faster, but not enough for P3, but he does stay on the second row of the grid. That's not what the Aston Martin driver wants. But Bjorn, who else is on the lap you seeing?
It's Jordan will be the next across the line, and this time he is on a lap, and it is an improvement so far of 1.5 seconds. So that will put him with a competitive lap time, hopefully in the top 10. He goes along the last corner, bit of a sketchy moment there, almost invalidated I thought, that's why I had to pause, but it's across the line and it is a P7. All of that race simulation and quali practice has paid off.
Have a look here. The provisional pole man at the moment could go even faster than he does on 1:04.4 for Ginger Tiger. Kent's finished his run. It's the cat's finish. We know Nitrogash was the last of, well, I don't think he's got anything. Nitrogash, he's not going to do it. Yeah, Nitrogash into the pits. Who else is on the lap? Liner Greasby is. What does he have? He's actually down by a 10th at the sector mark. Can he pull anything out the bag, at least just to try and get a position or 2? Can he try and maybe knock his teammate down into P11, getting into the top 10? Ivan Tonsik hasn't actually managed to set a lap time, but can he move up? He can, into P10 for the Ferrari, pushes his teammate down, but that's a Ferrari P10 and 11, but into the top 10, where he definitely will want to score some points. Both Mikey and Liner Greasby, they will want to score some points. It's not been the best to start for the Scuderia, it must be said, but no, they're consistently showing up, so if you're not in it, you're not going to have any chance to try and score the points, but they are here trying to do whatever they can. But that is qualifying, ladies and gentlemen. Ginger Tiger, your pole man for this evening. He's got Kent right alongside him on the front row. Behind, it's the cat. Didn't get that final run right with Nitrogash in P4. DJ Madman slots in behind with Clips Curie. with JPH and O'Steven, followed by Sir Spud and Liner Greasby. Then it's Mikey and Bruce, and then on the last row of the grid, Ivan Tonzik with no set time. So the Kick Sauber driver tonight hasn't really given us any indication on pace-wise, whether that's maybe track limits having a play in the lap times not being on there. I'm not sure, but we've not really seen much from him. And I do want to mention, Bjorn, it's looking awfully cloudy. And when it does in Spielberg, that can only usually mean one thing.
Well, I hate to break your enthusiasm, but unfortunately it's the cat letting us know in the YouTube chat that it will be a dry race.
Ah, that's a shame. For the entertainment perspective, I'm sure the drivers must be saying, oh yes, thankfully it's not what happened last night in qualifying. But no, so a dry race in Austria. But let's be honest, Spielberg, it can change. In the mountains, it can change from one moment to the other. And we do know the race radar isn't the most accurate thing on the game. It has had tendencies to completely reverse what is said to be from the start. But at the moment, the indication is dry to the end from It's the Cat. So, yeah, we'll see. But just having a look into the chat. Good evening to Sir Spud. Hope all is going well with you. And with Tristan, good evening. How is everything? And actually just seeing a comment. How many safety cars do you think we'll have tonight? Ooh, that's I'm going to go with 2 safety cars and 1 VSC. What about you, Bjorn?
I'm going for 2 VSCs, that's it.
2 VSCs. Right. Well, last night, I believe we had 2... Was it 2 virtual safety cars, exactly?
Yeah.
I think it was 2 VSCs. We didn't have a safety car, so no safety car in the Tier 1 running. But, yeah, no, it's... I mean, I don't want to say Austria is a high chance of safety car, but there can occasionally be those moments where going off the track, damaged wing can cause those VSCs, and that did show last night. But yeah, Ivan Tonsik in the chat saying, let's see how long I will survive. Well, I mean, you've got, what is 36 laps, so if you could try and make it past, what, half race distance, I think that'll be a good effort. Of course, Ivan Tonzik reserving tonight. But yeah, no, it's 13 drivers here tonight. So, of course, all drivers would score a point, bar 1. So, realistically, you've just got to be in it. I mean, we've said this so many times, Bjorn, that just staying to the end can reward you just so much.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, a race takes 45 minutes, and although on paper that doesn't seem like a long time, you only need 5 to go from last to first if you're really lucky. So, yeah, anything can happen, especially at such a unknown track like Austria Reverse. As long as you can just keep your tires on the car, I think you have a very, very high chance of scoring some points.
Absolutely. And while we're on the topic of points, as the lights start to go out, I'll give you a quick rundown of the standings. So in terms of the driver standings, of course, the War Islander on what is 35 points, he's in the lead, but he's no longer here. So that lead is expected to be removed and crowned to a new driver at the moment. But behind him, he's got Ginger Tiger on 26, and in fact Nitrogash tied on points. So both Aston Martin right up there for the drivers' standings. Stephen follows behind on 18 points, followed by Klipskiri on 16. Then Bruce in the McLaren off 14 points, with Ronin on 13, followed by DJ Madman on 11. JPH on 7, same for Sir Spud in the Red Bull for P10. Then Line agrees me in P11 with 4 points, followed by It's the Cat and Mikey on 1 point. Then we have Callum and Maris sitting on 0 points. Maris and Callum not here tonight, so that's unfortunately going to remain the same. And a quick view for the drivers, the constructors standings. Aston Martin lead on 52, followed by Racing Bulls on 35. 29 points there goes to the Mercedes, with the Red Bulls on 23, followed by McLaren on 21. Alpine on 14, followed by Ferrari on 5, and the remaining teams, Sauber, Haas and Williams, all on 0. So, at the moment, Ivan has a chance to bring a point to Team Kick Sauber. So, no pressure, Ivan. Just bring it home, as Klipskiri, unfortunately, has disqualified. He's rear-ended. Who's that by? Was that the driver behind him? In theory, should have been JPH, but no, that's an odd one.
I thought it was a Mercedes, but maybe the stewards will look at it anyway. Drivers are lining up on the grid, so take it over.
Yeah, you could see a clear split between the mediums and the hard. No soft tyres being run for the first stint at least, as Bruce unfortunately gets the parking wrong. But they'll drop him back a little bit more into the hands of Ivan. But for the round number 3 here in Austria reverse, of course, it's lights out, away we go, and look at Kent positioning that car so much to the right hand side, and look at that, Kent's taken the lead into turn 1, well into turn 1. He takes that off Ginger Tiger. Nitro Gas follows behind. There's a bit of scrap in the background. That's DJ Madman, and It's the Cat losing out on that offense, and It's the Cat now has in fact the McLaren of JPH right behind. But that's a dream getaway from Kent. Where did that come from? But clearly pointing the car in that direction really did help. Anything you saw, Bjorn, that we missed on stream?
Well, not every. I think everything got covered quite well. Klipskiri had a phenomenal start after being forced in a wrong parking position. He still made up 2 positions into P4. As I'm just looking, Klipskiri down the inside of Nitro Gas in turn 8. He didn't mean for that move. He locked up both fronts. Therefore, Nitro Gas stays in P3. But as I was saying, It's the Cat having a bad lap.
Have a look here, Bjorn. DJ Madman on Klipskiri. Does he make the move stick? He does. Nicely done from DJ Madman there into the final corner, and that's his place done and dusted. But that got a little bit tight. Oh, who's that in the... Is that the 2 Aston Martins going side by side? It is! The 2 Aston Martins. That looked like a very late lunge from Nitro Gas on his teammate. I think he might be giving the place back, and look at this. This is bringing the Mercedes. Whoa!
DJ Madman running into the back of Nitro Gas as Nitro Gas was letting his teammate pass. And yeah, DJ Madman is falling back. He has some heavy wing damage from that. I don't think that will only be his end plate. It looks like it, but going on board with him.
It's the Cat caught out from the damage of the Mercedes. The Mercedes broke early, and that's Stevenoff in the background. It's gone wrong for Mercedes, certainly, but it's gone even worse for It's the Cat. That's really not what he needed. I don't think he's got any damage, but that caught him out. I think the damage on the Mercedes of DJ Madman really caught him out, and he now gets overtaken by Sir Spud, who's up into P8 now for the Red Bull. But it's been a bit of a scrappy battle, but that all kick-started from Ginger Tiger and Nitro Gas. I saw just going into turn 1 in the background an Aston Martin just send it very late. That was a really late call. I don't think Ginger Tiger and Nitro Gas knew this was a team. There's no team orders going on like that.
Well, there will be no team orders trying to strike each other's wings off, hopefully, that's for sure. But yeah, that is it's quite a lot to process what happened in just a sector there, as DJ Madman losing out another position to Bruce. Oh, well, is he? Or is he? No, DJ Madman getting back with a beautiful switch back into turn 7.
Yeah, that's the power of the DRS, but bear in mind, we are somewhat into a DRS range as here it's the cat into the spot. Oh, there's contact between the two drivers. I don't think there's any visible wing damage. There isn't as far as we can see, but a little bit of contact between the two of them. That would have probably been more bodywork damage, and that's something you certainly don't want to have, because that cannot be fixed under any portion of this race. But out front, Kent still leads from Ginger Tiger and Nitro Gash. But it's been a little bit of a feisty start. Who's that? I think that's Clips Kiri and the McLaren of JPH. It is. JPH gets through in the head of Clips Kiri. But I think, actually, in fact, Clips Kiri is going to be... Sorry, not Clips Kiri. JPH. He's had an incredible start. He's really moved up some positions in this stint. 3 places, but so is Bruce. Look at this, 6 places, and as he overtakes DJ Madman. But now once again DJ Madman's gonna have a fight. He's got DRS, but so does the McLaren. Who's gonna be last of the late breakers? It's gonna be Bruce, but can he get it stopped in time? Oh, they collide. Oh. The Mercedes goes deep into the McLaren. Can they rejoin the track safely? They do, but that was a late move from the Mercedes. And there's certainly damage on both of them, if I'm not surprised. Definitely on the Mercedes. The McLaren doesn't look to have damage. Oh, the McLaren's gone off there as well. It's a 3-second penalty as a result of it, but absolute drama for Bruce and Madman there.
Well, I don't think we've had such a chaotic first 5 laps. It's not even been 5 laps in Invictus Racing League in quite some time. Number of collisions, and I'm sure a number of stewards reports after the race. They will be having
oh, JPH is off. Sorry to cut him. JPH has slided off. He's lost the rear. Oh, what a shame. We were on board with Clips Kiri, just simply losing the rear end of that McLaren, and all the hard work of an amazing start for McLaren at one point has just gone from bad to worse now, as Nitro Gash picks up a 3-second time penalty. I was going to mention about the time penalties, as I think that's Ivan at turn 2.
For the lead into the final turn. Nice overtake with yours. A bit of contact there between the V-Carb and the Aston Martin. Ginger Tiger pushes Ken to the inside. There you go into turn 1. Ken takes back the lead. And that seems to be a failed overtake attempt by Ginger Tiger, but Nitro Gash with a 3-second time penalty, as both of the Aston Martins went wide there into turn 2. That will hurt Nitro Gash's race in the long run.
Oh, it's the cat has gone off out of turn 1. He's trying to rejoin, but he had to wait. That's a dangerous. It's a blind corner on the regular. Well, it's somewhat of a blind corner when you arrive at the scene. If there's a car in the middle and he's lost his front wing, so he's clearly whacked that car into the barrier, and that's not going to help. But I was going to say, back up front, this has been a very chaotic first 5 laps. It must be said. I mean, I know it is only round 3, but so far definitely it's been quite chaotic, as Nitro Gash and Clips Kiri into the DRS range of Ginger Tiger, who is in the DRS range of Ken. But already on lap 6, 3 drivers having a 3-second time penalty, as Ivan has retired in the pits. Oh, what a shame. Ah, that's a shame.
Yeah, that is a shame.
As, you could just see the sliding of Nitro Gash there on board with the Aston Martin. But these 4, I don't want to say, of course we do these things where who we predict is going to get a podium or who's going to win it, but I wouldn't be surprised if any of these 4 can challenge for it, because they really are just streaking away from the nearest pack, which is Sir Spud and O'Steven. But yeah, this is a fight, Bjorn, I think that could go on all the way to the end.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's gonna get the strategist of each team will gonna get a headache of thinking what they have to do now, especially Aston Martin with having 2 cars in the mix. And I'm surprised Ken can keep such a big gap so consistently, because he has no DRS and everyone behind him does, as who's that gone off?
think that's Mikey. Is that Mikey? It is. Mikey going round. It's an easy corner as well. Turn 4, what is usually turn 4. It's an easy corner to get wrong when you go up the hill. Just too much throttle potentially. Maybe that's why that car's gone round. But yeah, that's not going to help the pain. But as you mentioned, Bjorn, strategy. One thing that these 4 drivers, well, the likes of Kent and Klipskiri don't have, is their teammate here to fight. There is Sir Spud, which is lurking around 5 seconds. He's on the hards though, so that could maybe play back. But what Aston Martin have here is the luxury of splitting the strategies, or potentially just playing a simple 1-lap undercut, and it can completely unravel this battle.
Yeah, I mean, if you're stuck in traffic, I did it yesterday, although because of a safety car it didn't work out in my favor really, but it was going to. I was gonna undercut some people, but I mean, you have to also keep in mind that a safety car can definitely happen at any moment on this track especially. So just looking, Lina Greasby letting Jordan by. Don't really know why.
I think Jordan actually had that move pretty much done. He did have the overspeed on him. I think that's more Lina Greasby realising he's not his fight and no risk needed into the final corner. But this is going to need to be a recovery drive now from the McLaren pairing. But I think, who's that? I think Klipskiri was really getting close to the back of Nitrogas there. As DJ Manman taking the fastest lap at the moment. He is on the hard tyre. So, Bjorn, when do you think now? The top 4 all on the mediums. But when can we expect to see that drop off in pace and the hards become a faster tyre? And I'm really looking at that for the fact of O'Stephen and Sir Spud on the harder tyre behind this quadruple of cars.
Well, I'd say about 2 laps ago the hards have become faster. So, I mean, the tires, the mediums will be nearing, they're probably around halfway to their life ability. As Klipskiri almost goes round. How did he manage to keep that? That was really impressive. But he's lost a lot of time. He's now actually out of DRS. So yeah, that's going to be a big factor.
He actually lost it before he had that moment there. So he's out of that 1 second. There's a Ferrari going very slow on the straight. I think that's Mikey. That is Mikey. He's going to get overtaken by It's the Cat. Potentially, and he does so. But Klipskiri, though, again, out of DRS. This is going to be so tough because the car ahead of him, if he wants to try and catch up... Oh, and as I say that, the car ahead of him goes off. That's Nitrogas going deep. And that's going to let Klipskiri surely through. But the problem is Klipskiri doesn't have DRS. And that DRS power just shows you truly how much of a helping hand it is. But now that enables Klipskiri to come into the pits. So he's launching the gun on this fight up front. He's got what looks to be hard tyres ready. It is. Hard tyres onto the Red Bull. And that was a close one with Nitrogas up front there. But I did say it, that corner is a very tricky one. I wouldn't be surprised if we see more drivers having a moment where they run just too deep into that and they lock that front inside tyre.
Yeah, no, it's a really tricky corner. Like I said in qualifying, the problem is it's a hard braking zone and it's downhill, which is going to take so much more braking effort to actually get the car stopped. And that will force lockups, rear lockups especially, which are really fatal. So I think it's the trickiest corner we have on this season's calendar.
Well, as we were watching just from onboard Ginger Tiger's point of view, Kent locking up the front end, even the rear at one point, having a little bit of a moment, but he managed to catch that as behind. That's JPH and Klipskiri. Klipskiri getting through on newer tyres, bear in mind. Newer, they are hard, so they would take a little bit more to warm up, but it just shows you still how much advantage just fresher tyres are, as now JPH comes into the pits for his first stop But back out front, we haven't really talked about much of Ken, besides obviously leading the pack. But Ken has done an incredible job to still stay ahead, because he's not had any helping hand of DRS.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. He's done a phenomenal job so far. And also a phenomenal job of keeping the tires at a consistent pace, because they must be going off a cliff. Yeah, look at that. As I was talking about it, Kent into turn 8 it is. Yeah, that one tricky corner we just talked about, locking the rears. Looks like he is. Is it going in the box this lap? Yeah, Kent is in the pits. Gingy Tiger stays out. And so does Nitrogash. So that's interesting. Only Kent goes. Maybe the Astons are committing to a one-stop. Because I assume, at least if Nitrogash saw that Kent was pitting, he'd pit too, because of the undercut, obviously. But we'll see how this plays out. It's quite an interesting one.
I was going to say, surely, naturally, if you're the car ahead and the car behind pits, then that's understandable why you haven't pit. The car behind is reacting to you. But the fact that Ginger Tiger and Nitro were both behind Ken and they saw him come in and opted to stay out, that's surely indicating they're going for the one-stopper. But I just also want to keep an eye out. Gap from Sir Spud to Nitrogash, 3.8 seconds now. Of course, we did see Nitrogash go off track, but that gap is somewhat closing down. So that's one thing to keep an eye out. And also, Clipskiri surely going on a two-stopper. He pitted way too early in my opinion. If he's going for a 1, I think that's too much to ask. So this is going to be important. Clipskiri will come out ahead of these lot when they pit. And in fact, they do now. Ginger Tiger into the pits. Nitrogash stays out. That's probably more because of the double stack not being able to be performed as the gap was too slow. What's going on here? Oh, okay, just a slight connection. Ginger Tiger wasn't being released for a second. But he is now out and away, and he's on the hard tyres. Where does he feed out? He feeds out behind Kent, which is not that bad. But the problem is Kent had a lap of pain to try and warm up the tyres. Now Ginger Tiger will have to do the same. But the delta now is actually significantly bigger. So if anything, I think Ginger Tiger's actually lost out here.
Yeah, that's what yeah, you're completely right. Like I said, the Aston Martins, at least one of them should have pitted when Kent was. But now I wonder, is Nitrogash thinking, because he has that 3-second time penalty, I have to take a risk and do the one-stop? Maybe he can do it from lap 14, as yeah, Nitrogash is in. But I wonder if the one-stop is possible from here on out.
Do you think so? The thing is, I don't understand if they are going the same strat 2-stop as what a lot of the drivers currently will be doing, which is we're talking about the likes of Clipskiri and maybe Ken as well. Then there really was more of a loss than an advantage by just staying out 1 to 2 laps more. But I just don't see why they've done that. But just like if they're going for the one-stopper, would that 1 lap, 2 lap difference be enough on a high deg track?
I mean, we don't know, right? Because all of us yesterday did a 2-stop, so we're going in blind as well. We don't know how high the wear would actually be on a 1-stop, if it's actually like hitting puncture limit 80% or even over it, and so you have to risk it for a puncture. We'll just have to wait and see. That's all we can do right now. But I just got an interesting question for you, Alex. In the chat, Sir Spud comes into the pits. The first hard runner, by the way. But question from Tristan. Hoping to come back for a season to race again at some point. Any ideas on ways to improve driving skills?
Ooh. Well, it might be a very repetitive answer, but honestly, consistency in terms of getting laps on the borders. Oof. So Spud getting on the grass on the pit exit. Yeah, no, consistently, certainly having lap times, the lap times may not seem like they're in the place that they should be at first, but, practice is key. That's one thing. But just consistently putting in lap times and getting into that, I always think of it as, in qualifying, I always like to do multiple laps, because for me, I like to get into a rhythm. Lap after lap, you get into a rhythm. One lap, you explore. The next lap, you learn where you can push a bit more. And that's why I really like driving in the wet conditions, specifically the inters, because you can do multiple laps, of course, Bjorn. The tire deg doesn't affect you. So that's certainly one thing I like to do. But it's just, honestly, as well, do what works for you. I think, don't look at what other people are doing at the same time. Of course, there'll be recommendations, what's wrong, what's right. But I think, more importantly, do what works for you. If there's something that people don't like, but you find you like, go for it. I think, honestly, it's down to personal preference. Everyone is different. Everyone drives in a different manner. And I think it's just important you follow what your heart says, in all honesty. I think that's, for me, how I would say it. What about you, Bjorn?
Well, first of all, some wise words from yesterday's podium sitter, Alex. Tristan, I think we all hope that you will return to Invictus. We do miss you here, so hopefully we'll see you on track next season. Or even this season if you want. But for your question, I'd say, I mean, I hate to say, but doing race simulations and trying to minimize tire wear in a practice session, it's gonna be the best way in my opinion, but like Alex said as well, it depends on the person. If you get quicker by doing time trial laps and it works out in your favor after a race, then do that. Everyone has their own ways of getting quicker. The problem with that is it takes a hell lot of time to know what your way is, because you have to try everything, right? And you can't quit after one try. So, and then also come the problem of every game that EA releases will have a different OP system. So it is complicated, but oh my god, as I'm on board with Kent, he almost loses the car. I know he corrected his oversteer 3 times on the braking. I have no idea how he has that, but please Formula Drift hire this man. Ginger Tiger, I'll come back to your question. Ginger Tiger on the inside of the final turn, a little bit of contact, and he's gone round. The Aston Martin has gone round, and he light tap of the barrier there. I tried it on the outside yesterday. There was no space for me, and there was no space on the inside for the final turn. I just think it's a very hard turn to get past. I don't know. I don't think I can blame anyone really. But that has increased the gap for Ginger Tiger massively, and also taking a hit on his tires. Keep that in mind.
Oh yeah, for sure. We know this game is notoriously punishing for, slight oversteer moments, too much rubber being kicked up. But no, in the last couple of, well, in fact, actually, the last maybe 10, 15 laps, I feel like it's gone away a bit from the Aston Martins. It's not. I don't see the strategy call being the right idea, and I just, it's not.
Oh. Nitrogash, sorry to cut off. Nitrogash, once again going into the gravel, the exit of turn 8, and now Bruce, the McLaren, is right behind him. But I don't think he'll be close enough for an overtake opportunity in the next straight. Oh, Nitrogash does not have DRS, but it's still a short straight. But you were saying?
Well, in fact, exactly what you just said here, Bjorn. Now Nitrogash having that off. It's not been. It seems like a bit of a scruffy race so far from the Aston Martins. That moment when both Aston Martins went into turn 1 side by side, very late maneuver, that seemed to do more damage than it did to help the race at that point in time. I don't think this has been the smoothest running. In all honesty, we know these two really consistently scoring good points, and they are still in a very good position. Don't don't take that out of contention. As just having a look now, Madman enters Spud. So Spud on newer tyres, on medium tyres, and you'd expect to get the move done and dusted, but he hasn't done yet, or has he? Is he going to have to get a little bit aggressive? A little bit of aggressive. He has taken a complete cut of the corner. That's a 3-second time penalty. I don't think that's an overtake worth 3 seconds. But
well, do you think he'd give the place back as well?
Yeah, but he stays ahead. Well, he's been given the penalty, Bjorn, and quite a hefty one for something like that. So I think he'll just say, well, all right, I've got a penalty. Let's just get on with it now. But of course, the stewards may, you never know. Stewards may want to have a look at that as an illegal overtake potentially. But yeah, I'll leave that to the stewards, of course. But
I just want to ask you one more thing just before we get to Tristan's question about the Aston Martins. Do you think that moment where they tried to go for an overtake in turn 1, had contact, then let each other pass, causing a collision and quite a lot of chaos at the start, do you think that took a hit on their confidence? I
honestly think that's the moment where it's gone a bit sideways, because I wouldn't imagine. Normally, you would expect them to both be in a chat online, in a PS party or some sort of communication. They would have these noted down and all the points and what are they going to do, strategy and all that. But clearly, when a maneuver like that was made, I don't think there was any communication. I don't think they're in a chat. If a move like that happens and the other driver had no idea that was coming, I don't think that was a calculated and expected thing. So in that regard, then I think both drivers are going to get a little bit ticked off. And I think they're both going to get, well, what's the other driver doing? Because then, of course, we saw one of the Aston Martins then backing off and giving the place back. And then that actually made things even more worse. So I think those events built up bit by bit, and it's just causing a bit of tension between the two Aston Martins. And now that's somewhat led them to be in a let's say wrong place. Oh, who was that in the background? I think that was Mikey having an off. That is Mikey. But yeah, I think that's genuinely what's been the problem. But in all fairness, though, Ginger Tiger and Nitro Gas have actually caught back up to Kent. So the race is not over for either one. They're still well in this, but I certainly think they could have made life much easier for themselves.
Yeah, keep in mind also maybe a possible penalty coming for one of them. I mean, Nitro Gas already has a 3-second time penalty for track limits. But Ginger Tiger, he was 6 seconds behind Kent, and now he's only half a tenth, so he's definitely got more pace. But just to come back to Tristan, yeah, I'm just reading your second chat here. Thank you guys, means a lot genuinely. I would love to get back into the racing and actually stay onto the track. I got Clips as a teacher as well. Well, Clips is in P1, so I'm sure you've got a great teacher. My advice is as Ginger
Here goes P2. Sorry, Bjorn. Here goes P2. Ginger Tiger gets through in ahead. He was having a look at corner before, but he's ahead now of Ken. But yeah, sorry to cut into that, but that's an important move because finally the Aston Martin gets ahead, and now it's an Aston Martin sandwich.
Yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on that. But yeah, my advice, it's going to be very boring. But if you do want to get involved and stay on the track, the best thing to do is just practice in a practice session with used tires and not in time trial. I think that will make a massive difference. So that's my advice. And yeah, we also mean genuinely, we hope you will come back. You're a great and lovely member. But back to the race, which has switched up quite a bit because Ginger Tiger, he's not close to Kent. I mean, now because of the DRS, but Ginger Tiger is creating a gap as Kent. I mean,
he's had those moments multiple times.
Yeah.
He's had it many times. I think he's got that brake bias set wrong. I think he needs to put a bit more now on the front brakes, because that's many moments now he's had at the same corner where it looks like the rear is going to completely go away with him. I think, of course, for the performance aspect of it, he's trying to run it as much as at the back as he can. But at some point in time, Bjorn, surely you're going to have to think of the risk versus reward here. And I think the risk is too high, because I'm not going to be surprised if that V-carb loses its rear end. Of course, I'm not wishing that, but just genuinely seeing it on board and off board, it looks like it could go in any moment at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's not an if like this, but it's a when, especially with the tires will be going off a cliff any moment, and they'll get, like, I'm not sure if I'm allowed to curse on the stream, but just for safety I won't, but by me saying that, you know what I mean. But
it's a hint. It's a hint. But yeah, no profanity. Oh, Clipscary's coming into the pits. Was that what you were saying, Bjorn? Sorry.
Yeah, it was. Clipscary into the pits. He is going what I assume is a medium tire, and yeah, it's a set of yellow Pirellis waiting for him for the last stint. He was still in the lead, and if nobody does a one-stop, he'll be back in the lead in a few laps.
I was going to get to Clipscary. I think, so despite the Aston Martins, as Stephen picks up a 3-second time penalty, track limits, despite the Aston Martins, in my belief, making a wrong call, staying out a lap too long, Clipscary came in 2 laps prior to Kent, I believe. And I think that's worked out very well. He was in the lead for the entirety of that stint, the moment when Kent and the others made their pit stop. And he wasn't really under threat despite that last lap before making his way into the pits. He's now got 10 laps to do on a medium set, which we've seen is possible. And because he's pitted first of these 4 cars, he's again getting an undercut or an overcut, you would say. He's getting that helping hand already. So I think he's made again a really good call here. I think Clipscary could have an even bigger advantage when the others pit, but that's the important thing. Are the others going to pit? Stephen and Sir Spud definitely are, though. But what about the top 3? That's the important question, Bjorn.
Yeah, I mean, I think they have to. I think they have to. I don't think the tires will physically make it to the end. But if you try, then you have all of the respect, for me at least, that you could ever want. So it's gonna be very exciting, because Clipscary, I mean, if they do pit, and I don't want to jinx it, but I don't care, so I'm gonna say, if they do pit, then Clipscary is almost guaranteed to win. With this not many laps to go, and again, I don't want to jinx it, but I don't really care, because otherwise we won't have anything to say. But it is getting really interesting, because keep in mind, Shinji and Kent are fighting, so that will also cost them time.
Yeah, absolutely. The thing is, if these 2 start squabbling as well, there's no chance that they can stay anywhere near Clipscary when they make their pit stop. But at this point, though, certainly you would think, Bjorn, if they want any chance to stay in this race-winning hunt, they would have made a pit stop by now. If they were going on a 2-stopper. I think
they have no choice. That's the thing. If they want to go for the win, which they all do, they're all drivers, right? They take risks. Then they take this massive risk. But I think it's too big of a risk.
Could we? I don't know. I'm just thinking of all the possibilities here, because I'm having a look. Clipscary has got nobody in front of him besides Nitro Gas. The gap is around what was 13 seconds a few corners ago to 2.9 to 2.6. That gap is coming down fast. There's no doubt that Clipscary should get through on Nitro Gas with the tyre difference and of course the tyre compound, as JPH picks up a 3-second time penalty, and of course the penalty of Nitro Gas. There's no doubt Clipscary should get that move done and dusted. The question is, there's a 3.5 second gap between Nitro and Kent, as Kent runs a bit wide there. Could Nitro Gas potentially think about, well, I'm not going to get a podium here, But could we help Ginger Tiger maybe get a win? And by holding Klipskiri as much as he can up, could that be a strat here? Because they've stayed out now. This is clear. They're going the one stoppers. Oh, Ken getting a really poor traction out there. But could that be what? Could that be a thing? Because look at the gap now, 11.3. I would not be surprised if Klipskiri gets, if there's no interruption, Klipskiri gets to the back of Ginger Tiger and Ken. I think it's possible.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the previous lap times for every driver here. Clips on average, well, on average, he's done a pit stop, right? So his lap times will be a little bit weird. The average last 2 laps on his new tires, 107.8. Ginger Tiger last 2 laps on average, 108.8. That's his second a lap. That's not enough as it stands. But here come the 2 maybes and buts at the same time. But Ginger Tiger's tires will fall off even more in the next coming laps, so that loss per lap will get bigger. Second, but what if his tires eventually puncture at the end? That's the only way that Klipskiri can get on the podium and possibly P1. So I'm gonna keep looking at the lap times and keep you updated, and we'll see how it works out.
I think the indication is realistically look at Ken. Between these 3 up front, Ken obviously has the oldest tyres, only by 2 compared to Nitro Gas and 1 extra compared to Ginger Tiger, as It's the Cat gets a 3-second time penalty. So if anyone is going to be in that puncture territory the soonest moment, it would be Ken, because don't forget, he's been running behind Ginger Tiger for quite a few laps. It's not going to be the worst case scenario, but it's certainly not going to help, and it would make the tyre wear a little bit more difficult, as he's going to have more dirty air, he's going to have to put more turn in, that's going to slide the front tyres more temperature, and then he gets stuck in this loop of trying to cool down screaming hot tyres, and of course tyres that are near the end of their lifetime. So I think if we're going to look at one man for indication, it's Ken on those 18 lap tyres, 5 laps to go when we next come across. That's going to be 23 lap old tyres. That is a challenge. Like you said, they're going to be absolutely dead, as the gap is 8.5. As Nitro Gas picks up another penalty. But saying that, the gap 8.9. Like you said, Kent's in.
He can't make it to the end. Okay, this is changing it. He's forfeited any chance of a win now. He's forfeited any chance of a podium now. I mean, actually, that's not true.
But Nitro Gas has got another penalty. Has he seen that maybe, and he knows he can't get to the end now? There's another penalty. I've got to pit now if I want any chance on saving a podium. Is that? I think that might be. And bear in mind now, he's on softs. We've not seen any running on the softs from the front end of the field besides Mikey, but Mikey at the back of the field, so we've not managed to see the top end pace here. But the gap's 6.5 to Clips. There's a further 7.6 to Nitro Gas. Just to go over the penalty situation, 6 seconds on Nitro Gas, 3 on Bruce, and then 3 for Stevens, to Spud, JPH, It's the Cat, and then Mikey. So I think Ken, he went as long as he could, and then he knew, I can't go to the end, saw that penalty, and thought, well, this is my only chance on getting a podium.
Yeah. Okay, this is gonna be, we do not know what's happening. Like I said at the start of the race, or before the race even, the race takes 45 minutes, and it can change completely in the last 5, and I think that's gonna happen right now. Clips last lap 108.6, Ginger Tiger last lap 108.9. That is far from enough to being enough to overtake them on the track. So it's gonna depend on the tire wear. I just want to keep a look if Ginger Tiger's headed to the pits in a few seconds.
It's the thing is, I'm surprised the mediums have not. I would have expected a bit more pace. I know they are 7-lap old tyres, and we did say around that point in time we'll start to see more deg affected. But compared to an 18-lap hard, I would have expected more pace on the medium set. He is closing in, but I don't even think Klipskiri could get Nitro Gas on the road. He will get him on position as long as Clips doesn't get a penalty, but I don't think he would even make up that 5.5 in the next 3 laps, is what it is. But the question is, then we go back to that other possibility. Can the front two even get to the end? We don't even know if that's certain. They're on 20-lap old tyres, and it will be another 3 laps to go. I will not be surprised if they are in puncture territory, even around about now, is what I'm thinking.
Yeah, Ginger Tiger just lapped the Ferrari, but look at that, he's letting the Ferrari go in front because he is slower than the car he just lapped. Or does he have a puncture? Okay, I thought he just had a rear puncture. Well, it doesn't look like it.
If he had a rear puncture, I would certainly not be going these speeds down the straight. But he's halted overtaking. But this is going to cause a problem because Mikey is a lapped car, and that's what I was literally going to say. Mikey has just been disqualified because of what the game thinks as a illegal blocking and not getting out of the way. I was literally getting to that point.
It's line of Greaseby that is ahead. Mikey's spun, you're stuck in the gravel, I believe.
Is that line of Greaseby? Oh, no, okay, sorry, that's line of Greaseby. Oh, wow, okay, sorry. 2 Ferraris, natural instinct there was... But I was going to say, with line of Greaseby just staying ahead, I thought they run a risk of the blue flags continuously popping up, and because, of course, he wouldn't have let the Aston Martin through, that would run the risk of a disqualification, but unfortunately, that's run the disqualification of Mikey, who doesn't get to finish this race, just 2 laps from the end, and all the work being undone to get a point. But no, that was line of Greaseby, so apologies there. But I think back out front, Bjorn, they're going to start the final lap. Do they even have enough left in these tyres?
Well, I just saw Nitro Gas drifting around turn 7 it was. Nitro Gas is really struggling. Klipskiri might even pass him on the final lap. And look at how careful Ginger Tiger is taking it. His tires are screaming for help.
Currently having a look at Nitro Gas at the moment because the gap is 1.2. Oh, he's having a little power slide. It's so scary when you have that and you're on 21 lap old hard. I assume Nitro is going to just let Clips here, or not even having to let him. He just will get through because he does have those 6-second penalties. So it's not like he's going to keep this place. But more importantly, look at behind. Ken is on the behind of the Red Bull. That's come undone. Oh, the Aston Martin's gone. Contact between the Aston Martin and the Red Bull. And the Aston Martin has a puncture. Right rear puncture. Nitro Gas lets Ken through. It's gone. But what about Ginger Tiger? I'm going to have a look at him. Has he got a puncture? Because he's got a lap all tyres. No, he doesn't at the moment. But chaos at the end. I think Ginger Tiger's got enough to do it. And he does so. Ginger Tiger wins round 3 here in Austria. Austria reverse win for Ginger Tiger. But what about behind for the podium places? Klipskiri is going to hold off Kent. And that's going to be P2 for the Red Bull. P3 for the sister team. But Nitro Gas, he had a puncture going up the hill. And I think actually he had a puncture, and that's why he went into Klipskiri, Bjorn. I don't think he lost it and then hit and then got a puncture. I think he just had the puncture, and that's why it just caught him off guard.
Yeah, I agree with you. That is a phenomenal end to this race. Last few laps were incredibly nerve-wracking, and well, I just want to say, can we do this again next season?
I think certainly it's proved to be quite an entertaining race as Austria in reverse. I mean, I hope we can even suggest it to the official FIA if we can run Austria in reverse, because that could be an absolute spectacle as It's the Cat finishes, crosses the line, and that is the race results for Austria in reverse. But this man on the top step of the podium, Ginger Tiger, he did an incredible stint at the end. We didn't think it was possible to do the one-stopper. And in all honesty, I was criticising the strategy on staying a lap out more from the Aston Martins, but in the regards of Ginger Tiger, it clearly could have been the difference, and it's certainly gotten him the win. But in Nitro Gas's perspective, that unfortunately didn't work.
Yeah, well, it's also crazy to think that Ginger Tiger had the older tire than his teammate who got a puncture. So yeah, what a strategy, man. I doubted it as well, and now I feel stupid.
Well, I like to get proven wrong, but no, it's Ginger Tiger, your race-winning man here tonight, followed by Clips, Curie, and Kent for the podium positions. Then it's Nitro Gas who finishes in P4 with that puncture on the last lap. Then DJ Madman comes home in P5. We didn't actually see too much of DJ Madman besides the start. Then P6 Bruce. Bruce had an amazing recovery. He had that moment starting from P12 on the grid up into P6 with the damage as well, I think, on the opening laps. That was a good recovery drive. He's got O'Steven behind him, P7, with Sir Spud P8, so some decent points going to him. JPH in P9 with It's the Cat in P10, and Lynette Griesby in P11. And the last P12 and P13, the non-finishers, Ivan Tonsik and Mikey. So, unfortunately, unable to complete the entire duration of the race, but that does mean all the finishers do score some points.
Yeah, well, I'm still not sure quite what to say. That was unbelievable.
Oh, it certainly was. We had a chaotic first few laps, and we had a chaotic end. So it kept us in some good action, certainly throughout that race. And like you said, Bjorn, can we have this next season? I was going to say, can we have this for every race, for the remaining races this season? I wouldn't be complaining. The drivers might, but from an entertainment perspective, I'd certainly have that. But yeah, I think so. Before we move on to what will be the next round, of course, Bjorn, who would you say would be your drive of the day?
I can't give to anyone except Ginger Tiger. I think I'd be doing him wrong if I said anybody else. Yes, a lot of people drove really well, but I think that the tire management is more impressive than anything anyone has done today.
I think you can't really go wrong with that. I'm going to say this might be a cheat of a response, but I'm going to go with Ginger Tiger and Clips Kiri, from the regards of Ginger Tiger proving well what we thought was the wrong strategy actually to be right, and actually driving an incredible race. You know, we did see those shaky moments between the two Aston Martins, but yet again they do score decent points. And obviously a win in the driver's standings can really help Ginger Tiger try and get this championship lead off of the War Island. Of course, he was not racing tonight because he's been promoted to Tier 1. And the other driver I was going to say as maybe a cheat response was Clips Kiri. And Clips Kiri, for me, made that bold move to pit quite early. It was very clear it was a two-stopper. But I think he was at the back of this train, bear in mind. Don't forget that. He was at the back of this 4-car train. And by him pitting 2 laps before what Kent did, put him into the lead. And by putting him into the lead, then put him into contention for this race win. So I think definitely as well, Klipskiri had an amazing race as well. But I think you can't really go wrong with either driver. But I think as well, Ginger Tiger having that incredible long stint on the hards definitely proved us wrong, Bjorn.
Yeah, no, I sent him a message saying, great job with the tire management. It is so hard, especially at such a track. It is so hard to keep that tire management up, but he's done a phenomenal job at it. So
all I ask for next week, Bjorn, I need to see that MFD with the tire wear on that Aston Martin. If Ginger Tiger is listening, you've got to send us a picture or whatever, if you have, of whatever tire, whether it was the rear right, rear left, or even the front. I need to see that tire MFD, because I could definitely tell you that wouldn't have been very happy with Ginger Tiger. But anyway, next week though, of course, Bjorn, we head over to what is arguably one of the greatest racing tracks in not only Formula 1 but GT. We head over to Spa-Francorchamps in Belgium, and a different format, of course, a sprint race weekend. So the drivers will have one shot quali, then complete a sprint race, then head back out into another one shot quali, and then their usual 50% race. But 2 one-shot qualies, Bjorn, that's going to be a different format and could shake up things quite dramatically. Certainly, Ginger Tiger is not going to be running the mediums. I could tell you for that.
No, he'd do that for the jokes, but from a strategic standpoint, that is of course never going to happen. No reason why. First sprint of the season though, so it's going to be an exciting one at such an iconic track as well. I believe it will be Jordan Maris and DJ Madman who will be commentating. At least either 3 of those, maybe a mix, 2 of them. Well, you have to see next week. But for me, it is. I have nothing left to say. For me, it's goodbye. I don't know, Alex. How about you?
Yeah, no. Yeah, I think all I can say is, it's just incredible to think after next week we will have been hitting the halfway point in the season. So half the points already distributed and half the points still remain. But no, yeah, it's been an incredible race this evening. But definitely do stick around next week. Tier 1 on Monday at 8 PM. They'll be racing around Spa. And of course, followed by Tier 2, covered by me and Bjorn on Tuesday. But no, from me, thank you very much for watching. It's been a pleasure as always. And we'll catch you around next week for round number 4. Have a good night. See you later.